Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, my name's Amanda. I'm a diagnosed autistic adult. There is a video coming up after this about putting in something called a reasonable adjustment for autistic adults or people that have got anxiety and things like that. Because if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm a diagnosed autistic adult. I was diagnosed a few years ago. I suffer from really bad anxiety. There's a reason I'm laughing, and it's not because of autism or anxiety. Just bear with me. So I am going to do a video about my experience today, which has been really positive. I started off negative, but it's been positive in the end, so that's a plus, that's a good thing. But I've been to Alton Towers today. I've wanted to go to Alton Towers for ages, like ages, and I've sort of been putting it off. I sort of contemplated it a few weeks ago, and you know, autistic people, we put an act on, we put a mask on to try and come across as being non-autistic, and I've tried to be, you know, we try and be as brave as we can and do things that other people do in society. Anyway, I decided that I was going to buy the silver pass. You can get like different types of passes at Alton Towers. And my dad and I, we got it's called a silver pass. It's like a pass that you can go to Alton Towers. I think the silver passage, you can go loads of times, but certain dates are excluded. The gold pass, you can go as many times as you want, which is really good. Anyway, I will do a full video about something called reasonable adjustments and ride access pass at Alton Towers for those people that are wanting to go, that might have autism and anxiety, that are a little bit worried about the queues and stuff, because I really do suffer with hideous anxiety in queues. It's so bad that I actually went to Alton Towers a couple of weeks ago with my dad, and my anxiety was so bad that I actually ended up walking back to my dad's car, and I came home. It was that bad. That's how anxiety can affect autistic people. We can be okay 1 second, and then we can just drop everything and walk away, and that's what I did. I walked off, and I ended up going back to the car. We came home. So my dad was like, book it again, let's try it again. Try and book something called a ride access pass, which is something that where you don't have to spend large amounts of time in queues and being around people, and you know, all that. It's not about queuing up. It's not about waiting 40 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever. That is not the issue I have. The issue I have is being around large groups of people and loud noises for long periods of time. It really sets me off, and then I end up just leaving. I get a panic attack and I end up leaving, and it really can be debilitating for autistic people. So my dad, so I'm not laughing at that, bear with me. And there is a full video coming up regarding my positive experience today. But what happened today was I decided, right, let's book it. I've got my silver pass, and my dad comes in with me and he helps me. So we both went to Alton Towers, and we got on, I think, about 2 or 3 rides. I can't remember. I'd have to have a look back at the pass. And then I said to my dad, you know, my anxiety is so bad that I'm going to have to go and just rest my eyes for a bit, because autistic people, we can sort of go so far in social situations until we have to sort of withdraw and take a step back and spend a little bit of time on our own. So I was like, right, let's go to, there's like a big grass verge area in front of this, like a big lake in front of Alton Towers itself. I said, let's go there. I can just sit down. I can maybe just lie back and close my eyes for a minute, and we can just rest and recoup. Just give me 30 minutes, just give me half an hour, and I can rest for a little bit. And then after that, I'll hopefully be okay, and I can just continue. Because I knew if I didn't do that, then I would not be able to continue with going on rides and doing whatever, you know, because I just can't do it. I wish I could. If I could give £1 million and not be like it and be like everybody else, I'd love to do that. I'd love to just not have autism. I love it because it makes me who I am, but I'd love not to have the debilitating symptoms that come along with it. So my dad was like, right, good idea, let's go there. So we went to there's like a huge grass verge area. I said, let's go under the shed where the shade is, because it's been quite warm today. We'll sort of just sit under a tree, and I can just shut my eyes for a minute and just sort of recoup my energy levels away from people, away from all the noises, away from the crowds of people and all that sort of stuff that can be really, like the sensory overload with autism can sometimes just be so much that we just need to come home and spend time on our own. And it's a genuine thing, like it is genuine. It can be so debilitating to us. And I felt at that point my autistic battery had just been depleted, and I just needed some time out. And my poor dad, I feel so bad for my dad, right? So I said, right, I'm going to lie back. There was like a few seagulls, like 20 or so. I say a few, there was like 20 or so seagulls sort of like harassing people for their food. People was having the dinner and stuff. It was like 1:30 or thereabouts. And it was all like gathering around all the people, trying to nick the chips and things like that, as you know. Seagulls will often sort of swoop down and try and nick people's chips. There was loads of geese, loads of baby geese and older geese swarming around all the people having the meals, hoping they'd be fed. And there was nowhere near me and my dad. I love animals, I love birds. I've got this super obsession with birds, especially I love seagulls. I really, really want a big stuffed seagull teddy. I really want one of those. I love seagulls. I have nothing against animals. I love them so much. Anyway, I said I'm going to lie back, and because it was nice and quiet, it was nice and warm, we was under the shade. I'm just going to rest my eyes for 5 minutes, and then hopefully I'll be okay. Then we can maybe go on the teacups, or we can go on the river rapids, or we can do something after. And so I shut my eyes, and my poor dad clearly didn't want to wake me up because he knew that I had anxiety. And bearing in mind it was like 1:30 or thereabouts when I shut my eyes, and I woke up to a goose, quite a small goose. It was like in between like a baby goose and an adult goose. It was like medium-sized goose, trying to peck my eye out, trying to eat my eye for its dinner. It woke me up with a shock. And I woke up with such a shock with this goose trying to peck my eye out. And I was absolutely covered in bird shite, absolutely covered. The geese had been asleep for that long. I'd purposefully gone to Alton Towers to have a lovely day out like everybody else that doesn't have autism, to enjoy the rides, to walk round, to be a part of the atmosphere, to take it all in. I was so tired after about an hour of walking, just hardly anything, and being at Alton Towers, that I had to go to sleep. I fell asleep. I actually physically fell asleep because I was so drained. It drained my autistic battery so fast. And I woke up to this goose pecking my eye out. My dad was just sat up next to me. I was like, did you not try and stop it pecking my eye out, Dad? You could see that this goose was like pecking me. He said, well, I didn't like to wake you. And I thought, well, the goose is trying to eat my eye for its lunch for a start. So please wake me up before the goose eats my eye, because they're quite sharp beaks. My dad said it was quite hilarious and it was quite funny, and it was entertaining him. He's so funny, my dad. He's hilarious. And then to make it worse, I woke up, I sat up, and the geese had been asleep for that long because my autistic battery, after 1 hour of being at Alton Towers, 1 hour, bearing in mind, people go to Alton Towers, they spend their whole day walking around, going on rides, queuing up, being around other people. I spent, as an autistic person, 60 minutes, 1 hour. I was exhausted by it all, that I fell asleep, and it was like 2.5 hours later that I woke up, and my poor dad had sat there next to me for like 2.5 hours while I was sleeping. I woke up, the geese had obviously had a field day around me. I was absolutely covered in goose shite all over my arms, all over my legs, to make it worse, to make matters worse, do you see this? This is like a stamp. You know, like when you leave a venue, they stamp your hands. Me and my dad, at like 12, it was like 12 o'clock, like 11:45, 12 o'clock, something like that. We went back to the car, and you get stamped when you go out, so that they know that you're going to come back in again. You know, like a nightclub, you get stamped when you go out and you can come back in again. So they stamped me with this like Oblivion logo. So I got stamped. To make things worse, I didn't realise that when I'd been sleeping like this, and when I woke up, I had the stamp, the Oblivion logo, attached to my cheek. So when I woke up, so I'd spent 1 hour as an autistic person trying to enjoy my day, trying to do what everybody else does, you know, trying my best, like trying to come across as being non-autistic, I just want to enjoy your day out like everybody else. With reasonable adjustments put in place, with a ride access pass put in place, and this is what I'm trying to reiterate in this video, even with those things, because it can be so easy for other people to think, oh, this person's just using their disability or whatever for a ride access pass. It's not the case. It is the vast 99.999% of people, more 100%, require these things in order to enjoy their day out. After 1 hour, 1 hour at Alton Towers, I fell asleep for the duration of the rest of the day because it was just overwhelming to me. I woke up in goose shite. A goose was trying to peck my eye out, and I had the tattoo of the Oblivion logo tattooed. I've wiped it off. That's why I don't look. My face looks awful because I've not got much makeup on. But the tattoo was just stuck to my cheek. Can I just tell you that was really difficult to get off as well, and I actually had a panic that Oblivion tattoo wasn't going to come off, and I was going to be walking around Buxton and seeing my patients with like a tattoo on my cheek of the Oblivion logo. It's really hard for autistic people to like enjoy our days out and stuff sometimes, even with reasonable adjustments in place. So I feel like I've been to Alton Towers and I've just slept the entire day. I will go back again. I'll probably sleep again exactly like I've done today. But I wanted to share the story because I thought it was quite hilarious. Anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know, do you guys understand what I mean by feeling just so exhausted being around other people in social situations? I'd so love to be able to just go to a social event and not have to go to sleep and be able to just enjoy it like everybody else is like full of energy. They're like buzzing, they're able to talk about, I don't know what people are talking about. I looked around and people are talking to each other and screaming and having fun, and I don't seem to reciprocate with that, you know. I don't seem to know what people are talking about, like on rides and stuff, people getting excited and talking to each other. I just seem to be a little bit devoid from that understanding of what people are actually going on about with each other. Does that make sense? But yeah, I went to Alton Towers today. It was a fantastic day. I enjoyed it so much. And I actually feel great now because I feel like I've been to Alton Towers and I've had such a good freaking sleep.